Hello everyone, welcome to ESOL with Lizzy. Today we will talk about 6 of the WH question words and how to use them to ask questions in the present tense and the past tense. In English, we can ask 2 types of questions, open and closed questions. If we ask a closed question, the answer is either yes or no. For example, do you live in Manchester? Yes. Do you have a job? No. Have you lived in England long? No. Do you like shopping? Yes. Open questions are a lot more interesting because the answers are longer and have more information. When you ask an open question, the answer could be anything. For example, who are you? I am Lizzy and I am an ESOL teacher. Where are you from? I am from England. When is your ESOL class? My ESOL class is every Thursday at 12:30. Why am I eating? Because it's lunchtime. These are my answers to the questions. If you asked someone else these questions, their answers could be completely different. This is because every open question starts with a WH question word. If you ask open questions starting with WH question words, you can have better, longer, and more interesting conversations with people. So what are WH question words? WH question words are words that start with the letters WH, and they are the first word in every open question. For example, which? You might say, which is your favourite restaurant? What? What is your address? Where? Where are your children? Why? Why are you tired? Who? Who is your favourite singer? When? When is the party? How? How is the only WH question word that doesn't start with WH. It only starts with H. How do I make a cake? You can also add other words to how to make other WH question words. For example, how long? How long is the queue? How much? How much is the shopping? How many? How many children do you have? There are lots of WH question words in English, and maybe you can think of more. But today, in this video, we will look at 6 of them. What, where, why, who, when, and how. To use these WH question words perfectly, we need to know what they mean. So let's have a look at each of them. Who? What does who mean? If I ask, who are you? What is the answer? You might say, I am Sam. I am Sonia. Or I am Romana. Or I could ask, who is your teacher? My teacher is Lizzy. My teacher is David. So what are Sam, Sonia, Romana, Lizzy and David? They are people. So who means people or person. If you ask an open question starting with who, then the answer must be a person or people. What about when? If I ask, when is lunchtime? You might say 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock If I ask, when is your doctor's appointment? You might say on Monday at 9 o'clock. Or when did you come to the UK? In 2020. So, what are 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, Monday at 9 o'clock and 2020? They are time. So when means time. If you ask an open question starting with when, then the answer must be time. Where? If I ask, where do you live? What is the answer? It might be Manchester, London, Oldham, or Bradford. If I ask, where is your car? You might say outside or in the garage. So what are Manchester, London, Oldham, Bradford, outside and the garage? They are places. So where means place. If you ask an open question starting with where, then the answer must be a place. Why? If I ask, why are you learning English? You might say, because I want to get a job. Or because I want to help my family. Why are you eating? Because it is lunchtime. Because I am hungry. What is the first word in each of these answers? Because it is lunchtime, because I am hungry. It's because. So if you ask an open question using the word why, the answer will always start with because. Therefore, you could say that why means because or reason. How? If I ask, how do I make a cake? What is the answer? Firstly, you need a bowl. Secondly, you need eggs, milk, sugar and flour. Thirdly, you need to put the flour in the bowl, and so on. Or you might ask, how do I drive a car? Firstly, I turn on the engine. Secondly, I check my mirrors. Thirdly, I press the clutch, and so on. Each of these answers are step-by-step instructions. This is also called a method. So how means method. If you ask an open question starting with how, then the answer must be a method or step-by-step instructions. So we've looked at 5 WH question words, but which one is missing? What? So what does what mean? I call what the queen of question words because it can have the same meaning as all of the other WH question words. For example, what is your name? My name is Iqbal. What time is it? It is 7 p.m. What is this place? This is the supermarket. What is the reason you are late today? Because I missed the bus. What are the instructions in this recipe? Firstly, we fry the onions. Secondly, we add the ginger and the chili powder. Let's have a look at this activity. I will show you 6 open questions and their answers, but they have no WH question word. Which WH question word do we need at the start of these open questions? Pause this video now if you would like some thinking time. To find the right answer for these questions, we need to look at the answers. Number 1 says, do you live? I live in London. What is London? London is a place. So we need the WH question word that means place, which is where. So the correct answer is where do you live? Do you live with? I live with my wife and children. My wife and children are people, so we need the WH question word that means people, which is who. So the correct answer is who do you live with? Is ESOL class? Class starts at 9:30. 9:30 is time. So we need the WH question word that means time, which is when. So the correct answer is when is ESOL class. Like the last question, this question again starts with is ESOL class? But this time the answer is class is in Manchester. Because Manchester is a place, we need the WH question word that means place, which is where. So the correct answer is where is ESOL class? Is it cold today? Because it is winter. This answer starts with because. So we need the WH question word that means because or reason. This is why. So the correct answer is why is it cold today? Do I pass my exams? Firstly, I study a lot. Then I go to every ESOL class. The words firstly and then show that we have step-by-step instructions or a method. So we need the WH question word that means method, which is how. So the correct answer is how do I pass my exams? Really well done if you got any of those answers right. So now that we know what these 6 WH question words mean, how do we form or make complete open questions? So firstly, let's think about how to make present tense open questions. This means open questions about now, the present. Not yesterday, not tomorrow or next year, but right now. To make these questions, first we need a WH question word, like who, what, where or when. Then we need a present tense verb. This means an action word or movement, like the verb to be or the verb to do. Then we need a subject. For example, I, you, he, she, or a name. For example, who are you? Who is the WH question word. Are is the present tense verb. And you is the subject. Don't forget that you also need a question mark at the end. When do you arrive? When is the WH question word, do is the present tense verb, and you is the subject. Where do you live? Where is the WH question word, do is the present tense verb, and you is the subject. What is it? What is the WH question word, is the present tense verb, and it is the subject. Can you think of any more examples? Share them in the comments if you like. So what about past tense open questions? This means open questions about yesterday, last week, or last year. They are similar to present tense open questions. Firstly, we need a WH question word. Then we need a past tense verb, like was, did, or were. Then we need a subject. For example, who are you becomes who were you in the past tense. We have who, the WH question word, were, which is the past tense verb, and you, the subject. When do you arrive becomes when did you arrive. The WH question word is when, did is the past tense verb, and you is the subject. Where do you live becomes where did you live. Where is the WH question word, did is the past tense verb, and you is the subject. What is it becomes what was it. What is the WH question word, was is the past tense verb, and it is the subject. So to make past tense open questions, all you do is change the present tense verb to a past tense verb. Everything else stays the same. Can you think of any more examples? Again, share them in the comments if you like. So finally, have a look at this list of open questions. How can we write these open questions in the past tense? How are you? Who do you live with? When is ESOL class? What am I doing? Why do you do ESOL class? And where does she live? Pause this video now if you would like some thinking time. So all we do is change the present tense verb in each question to a past tense verb. So how are you becomes how were you. Who do you live with becomes who did you live with. When is ESOL class becomes when was ESOL class. What am I doing becomes what was I doing. Why do you do ESOL class becomes why did you do ESOL class. Where does she live becomes where did she live. Really well done if you got any of those questions right. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I really hope you've learnt something. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments and I'll try and get back to you. See you soon!